Our media landscape is filled with toxic journalists working at toxic media companies who will basically do whatever they can to destroy the reputations of others to turn it into a profit. So they create controversy where it doesn't exist, they manufacture outrage, and they do their absolute best to try and trigger the emotions of the audience. These so-called journalists make no contributions to society other than to just pointlessly rile up people's emotions and also to just confuse the public about what's true and what's not. The thing is, celebrities and other public figures are often caught off guard by these toxic journalists, and they end up slipping up and saying the wrong thing and ending up in some kind of scandal. I'm going to use Andrew Tate as a case study here as he appears on Romanian news. But first, before it begins, let me explain the situation so you know what's been happening with Andrew Tate. This happened about a few months back. This is old news, to be honest. What actually happened is an American woman came over to his mansion one night. She came to a big party with Andrew Tate in his mansion. Now, this woman had a boyfriend who she didn't tell about this party. Somehow, the boyfriend found out about this party, so she basically panicked and she lied to him. So what she did is she told her boyfriend that she was forced to stay in Tate's mansion against her will, basically saying that she had been kind of abducted or something. So her boyfriend called the police and then the embassy of his home country, and this kind of caused a big incident. The SWAT team came into Tate's mansion and basically brought him and his brother in for questioning to the police station. But what actually happened was the police looked at the CCTV and they saw that this American girl wasn't abducted, she wasn't kidnapped, she came to the mansion by an Uber, and she wasn't forced or abducted or anything. So the girl came and left of her own free will. There was no crime that happened. So obviously Andrew Tate was cleared of any charges, and eventually the woman kind of admitted that she had made the whole thing up in a kind of panic. So there was no crimes, nobody was hurt, nobody was guilty of anything. Keeping that in mind, let's watch the reporting of Romanian journalists and let's see how they try to report the truth to the world. That's their job as journalists, isn't it? To kind of show the public real stories, the truth about what's going on. So let's see how they do that.
Hello, Andrew. You're the man of the day.
I'm always the man of the day for some reason.
Yeah, this one is a quite serious reason, and I would like to ask you a few minutes to talk to me.
Serious reason. It's not a serious reason. It's bullshit.
That's not what the police says.
So this journalist is trying to give the audience the impression that Andrew Tate is in big trouble with the police. But actually Andrew Tate has just been released from the police station, which would suggest that he's not in trouble with the police. Because if he was in trouble with the police, he wouldn't be allowed to leave the police station in the first place, right?
If the police thought I did something wrong, why am I here on the street?
Yeah, that's true as well. I want to ask you, is that true that you sequestered an American girl in your flat here in Pipera?
Listen, I ask girls to leave. I do not try and make them stay. It's absolutely not true. I can't talk about the case.
Now, the fact that just her accusation alone will be enough to manipulate a lot of the audience into disliking Andrew Tate. So a lot of people are very sensitive around this topic, sort of the topic of rape and whatnot, understandably. And a lot of these people will have their emotions triggered just by the accusation alone. The fact that the reporter is talking about sexual assault will make a lot of people will immediately just jump to the conclusion that he's guilty of sexual assault and that this guy is a scumbag. That's how people are. They will immediately jump to that conclusion. The journalist knows that.
It's because it's still pending, but I'll give you a very short version. Some girl was at the house. I saw her once. Many girls come for parties, etc. Her boyfriend caught her there, and she told a bunch of lies to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend called the police. It's stupid.
How did an American girl arrive in Bucharest?
I don't know, a plane, I guess. I don't think she swam, so I guess she took a plane.
Did you pay for the plane?
No.
So when she asked him if he paid for the plane, this journalist is really hoping that Andrew Tate is going to say yes, which would give the impression again of him being guilty of planning her kidnapping or sexual assault or whatever he's being accused of. First of all, it wouldn't really matter if he had paid for the plane or not. It doesn't make him guilty of a crime just because he paid for a plane for a girl. As it turns out, he didn't pay for the plane at all.
And then her stupid boyfriend made some phone calls to some embassy, some bullshit. I'm a big man with big problems.
Did she have the phone all the time with her?
Of course she did. And she's not even pretty. This girl's average. She's ugly. I don't have time for this bullshit. Like, I'm a big man with big problems. I'm doing important things. Some girl and her boyfriend made a stupid phone call. I didn't do anything wrong.
What about the rape accusation? There is a Moldavian girl that says that you raped her.
So, a rape accusation. Well, we've got to remember that accusations don't actually mean anything. Like, literally anybody can accuse anybody of anything. Like, I could sit here right now and I could accuse the president of Peru of sexually assaulting me. And the journalists could then take that, put a headline saying the president of Peru is facing allegations for sexual assault. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. An accusation is nothing. Anybody can accuse anybody of anything. But of course, journalists always take accusations seriously if they think they can make a profit by manufacturing outrage around this accusation.
That's not true at all. You make it up.
Do you know her? She's been to your house?
Lots of people have been to my house. It's all bullshit.
Did she's been to her house? To your house?
Listen, I am a good man, a man of God. I've yet to ever go to jail for committing any crime. I'm not a desperate.
If we think about it, why would someone like Andrew Tate, who, you know, is a multi-millionaire, he's got plenty of women already. Why would he go to the trouble of abducting and kidnapping a woman from America? Like, why would he do that? But the journalists don't care if there's any logic behind it. They're just looking for clicks and stories. All she is doing is looking for a story. She puts off a sort of veneer, a little bit of politeness and being civil. But you've got to remember that these journalists are not there to be your friend. In fact, they're vicious. They try to get you to stumble on your words and say something stupid. They're trying to get a headline out of you. So she's looking for a headline, but she can't write a headline based on nothing. She needs to have some material. She actually needs Andrew Tate to say something that's going to make a good headline. So these journalists will purposefully try and corner people into saying something that will make a good headline out of them and cause a good story. Their goal is not to interview you in a respectful manner. Their goal is not to inform their readers. The main goal is to get the interviewee to say something that can be taken out of context and put in quotation marks in an article. It works. It sells papers. People get sucked in. People get their emotions triggered. And they see an interview like this and they go, Andrew Tate is a scumbag. He must have been guilty of sexual assault. It's like, well, actually, and if you look at the facts, if you ignore the media circus around it, if you look at the facts, he hasn't been charged for any crime. There's no evidence of him sexually assaulting anybody. That's all from me. See you later.